What is up, guys? So today we're gonna install the Black Ops arms on the Jeep. I highly suggest that you guys think about these kind of things before you lower your vehicles, simply because as soon as you lower it, the camber changes a whole lot. I thought I was gonna get away with it, but I ended up maxing mine out and it still wasn't in specification. So I mean, I really didn't have a choice, and I didn't really want to keep on spending money on tires. So this is what we ended up doing. So let's get into it.
All right, so we got the control arms right here. I'm gonna go ahead and install them. And let me show you guys. These are brand new Mickey Thompsons, and as you can tell right here on the edge, it's already kind of chewing it up. So that's why we're gonna go ahead and switch these out for the Black Ops arms. Okay, so first things first, you gotta take this off the nut and drop the spindle, knuckle, whatever you want to call it. And then I believe we do have enough access to get to the bolts and we don't have to remove the strut, but we'll cross that bridge in a little bit. So let me go ahead, take this off, and then see if I can sneak them out. So we went ahead, removed the arm. You were able to sneak out the bolts without removing the strut and the nuts. One is right here in front of the shock tower, and then you have the rear nut back here behind the shock tower by the steering shaft area. Okay, so we're going to install the first arm. Make sure you apply the grease that they supply. Get it all over on all four bushings. The sleeves are already pre-greased, so we don't have to really worry about that. You can see the grease in there already. So let's go ahead and get this thing on and see how it looks. Okay, so we are in. I just popped the bolts in there for temporarily while I put the nuts on. You do have to shave the little retainer right here, because otherwise it's going to contact the arm. So before you install the bolts, make sure you cut those off. All right, so you always want to make sure that you tighten the suspension components when the car is on the floor or loaded. You want the suspension loaded. So I already tightened that nut. We got the nut back there. That's tight. And the best way to get the one in the back, get a little stubby and then finish tightening it up with the long extension one. So now moving on to the other side. Moved on to the passenger side. The fuse box housing has to get removed. That way you can access the front bolt, and then you just tip this over and then you can access the back bolt. As you can tell, I already took this one off. So I'm gonna go ahead, raise the vehicle, pull out the bolts, and then switch out the arm. All right, passenger side was a little more difficult. I wasn't able to take out the bolts, so I did have to loosen the strut, but that's pretty easy. You just split it apart. It's a 16, a 18, 21, or 22, and then the bottom one's 27 for the strut bolt. But finally disconnected that. Make sure before you drop anything you disconnect this guy. I use a flathead to take it off and just lightly pry it on it. So we got the old control arm right here. We're gonna go ahead, grease up the new one and get that thing in there. All right, so we just buttoned up the Jeep. We got the Black Ops control arms on both sides. We threw the stock wheels back on because it's raining outside. We don't want to get in a wreck with the welds. So tomorrow we're going to do an alignment and see what the specs look like, and then if we have to adjust the shims, we'll adjust the shims, and I'll let you guys know how that goes.